All right, man. Yes. Welcome back to the channel. Today, I got a treat for you. I want to show you what I call my bread and butter real estate plays. These are the type of houses that made me a millionaire. All right, what we have here is a 2-bedroom, 1-bath house. This is what I'm looking for. This is in what we would call, traditionally, most investors would refer to as a C-class neighborhood. Working class folk, maybe simple people. Often you're gonna see RVs in the yard, cars parked. They're gonna have 2 working cars and 2 cars that might not work. All kidding aside, that's reality in these type of neighborhoods. Now, something as a landlord, or mostly maybe an investor or landlord who's separated from the investment, you might not think about the yard. But if you're a tenant, your customers can be hanging out here, might have pets and kids. So taking into account the actual property itself in relation to the tenant. I mean, if they're college kids, they probably don't need a nice yard like this. I mean, so common sense for the type of product you're trying to produce. Now, this house, honestly, looks pretty good. We did, I wouldn't really call it a remodel as much as a rehab, approximately 2 years ago. And it had been 7 years prior to that. Something that you might not think about when you first get involved in real estate investing is that, okay, I bought this house, I fixed it up, I put all this money into it, I've been renting it. It's 9 years later, you need to do it all again. I bought 20 houses. All right, when you get into property, let's use the word rehab or renovation. The goal as an investor, man, keep it simple. We want simple colors. You know, we want to keep it, you want it functional and clean. And, you know, if you can make it look nice, make it look as nice as you can for a reasonable investment for what the price of the product is. It's just probably the best way of saying that. We've always liked to use Formica. It holds up for a long time. It looks pretty. Very simple, but labor intensive. You know the term sweat equity. Sweat equity would be maybe repainting all of these drawers. Maybe you repair them, you put new hardware on them. Anybody can do that. Anybody can learn to do that. You know, new hood vents that more adequately, I see this all the time. A guy will have a brand new stove in a unit and he leaves the 10-year-old a fan above it, and it just doesn't, something so simple could have given the house a much cleaner, nicer look and a better product, right? But we don't want to go broke trying to do that. And if you look at this kitchen, it had, I believe it was tile. No, I don't remember what at the back was. We simply took it off, and this is just basic backer board from Home Depot with some basic trimming. And I learned how to do that with messing with air tools, looking on YouTube and books, man. Not that complicated. Made the kitchen look much nicer, coat of paint, create a great product. All right. Pet peeve, I don't like fireplaces. Now, I like fireplaces at my house. The goal of doing real estate is to get fucking rich, and that's what we're trying to do. And I hope you have a beautiful fireplace at your house. I don't want you to have one at your rental house. People will burn your shit down or burn themselves down. People get drunk, do crazy things. You'll notice we closed ours in. Obviously taking it out. If you were doing a full reno, and you're already putting $50,000 and ripping everything out, maybe go ahead and take it out, but otherwise, decorate around it. We closed it in, tiled it, framed it out. Not the fanciest framing in the world, but it looks okay. This cheap mantle, I went to Home Depot, again, you'd be amazed what you can do with an air tool, a finishing nail, a miter saw, some paint, and caulk. And so we just framed this out. That's maybe 20 bucks to make this mantle for up here. Super simple, super easy. Looks clean. These used to have cabinets on them. We took them off, opened it up. That's, again, a little trick. So these are just little tricks that you're going to learn. Your wife probably knows them already. You may already know them already. And that's the kind of, I don't want to say intangibles, but life experience or creativity or things you like, colors. Well, good, bring that into your investing. Utilize that. That is sweat equity. It's not just working with your hands, it's also working with your mind. All right, so we looked at the kitchen, we looked at the living room to kind of give you an idea, little tweaks and things you can do. Again, we want to create the nicest product we can for a reasonable rate. And if I can put some sweat equity into it, I'll spend a lot of that. You get what I'm saying? That's how you make a house look nice on the cheap. Painting, this one of the reasons I love the 2-bedroom, 1-bath model is, man, you and your wife, you and a brother, you and a friend can paint it in a couple days. It really is not that big a deal. In these older houses, at some point you're gonna run into door problems. These doors are hollow. Renter gets mad, punches it, that will happen. We've replaced I don't know how many doors. I've had to get creative, I've had to go on Facebook Marketplace because the house is built in the 40s and the framing isn't normal size. And so again, creativity can go a long ways as a real estate investor. It's one of the few investments you can touch. You could take your natural attributes, the things that you do well, the things God gave you a natural born talent for, and bring it to this business. Maybe it's the paperwork side. I hate that side, but maybe you're a whiz at that. You're super organized, you're good with numbers. This business will let you take what you already naturally do and put it to work and multiply it to make you rich. All right, listen, when you buy an old house like this, because that's where you're not gonna run out and buy a brand new home and get a bunch of fucking equity in it and be a real estate baller. Not usually how it works. You're buying problems. You're buying other people's issues. You're buying shit they don't even want to fix. And that's where you're going to get your equity. And if you could do some of it yourself, either as the general contractor or the actual guy in there swinging the hammer and painting, you can get a lot of equity. Look at this ceiling. There's an instance. We put new lighting, but this is an old ceiling, one of those drop down. If you saw my beach condo renovation video, you saw what that newer, the ceiling looked much nicer, much cleaner, much more streamlined and more modern. So these can be taken out, but honestly, as a rental, it's clean. It'll stay there until it's not clean. Yeah. Hey, one cool thing, if you get old properties, sometimes they have character. They're old. That's why I like them. I'm actually obsessed with real estate. I live in 3 houses. How about that? Like, I love houses. Look at this. I mean, how cool is this? Now, is this ancient? No. But you're probably not going to find this in a new build. Just probably not. If you can keep these features, people love it. You can have ironing boards that come out of the wall. There's all kinds of stuff in these old houses. Do your best to keep it because it adds character. All right, we've now moved from a bedroom and we're going to look at another bedroom, but now we're in a bathroom. 2-1, 1 bathroom. Think about that. That means there's a water source here, and there's a water source in the kitchen, and there's a water source in the utility closet where the water heater and washer and dryer is. This gives you a limited number of spots to have water issues, which you probably will. These are the type of areas you always want to make sure stay clean. You're going to want to learn about this, not necessarily to fix it yourself, but when you need to get it fixed and when you don't. Again, simply painting these, new hardware, new lights, new paint, trim paint, rip out some old nasty caulking, put in new caulking can make a bathroom look beautiful. Not perfect. If you look, you're going to see dings and marks and things, well, no marks, but you're going to see character flaws, let's call it. Notice the fan. Hear how annoying that is? That forces the tenant, when they get in the shower, to make sure they circulate the air in here to avoid getting mold, which you definitely will get mold in the South. So we want to make sure, 100% certain, they turn it on, we connect them together. Bedroom 2. Again, remember, bread and butter. 2 bedroom, 1 bath. Small roof, not as much to paint, not near as much flooring. You can still have dual people live here, maybe even 3, mom, dad, child, right? Yard is smaller. Mathematically, I just like the numbers better. People will always need to live in a 2 bedroom, 1 bath house. If we go into an economic collapse, people still need a place to live, and the house on the bottom of the rung will always have customers. That's the product you own, so keep that in mind. Again, character, kept these as long as we can. Eventually, they'll probably break this and someone will go to a door. Simple little things. You'd be surprised the number of people live in your house 3 years, never buy curtains. This gives them a little bit of privacy and it keeps them from drilling holes all into your rug, which you should not allow anyway. We do not let people drill holes into the wall. They are not allowed to. They have to use 3M hooks or come up with something else. I would advise that as well, or you'll be spending a lot of money fixing drywall. And once you do it yourself a few times, it's not something you're going to want to do a lot. Property that you own, especially if you're the manager, especially if you and your team, your family, whatever, are rehabbing it. Every one of them are going to be, they're going to have their little thing. And every kid you have has his little thing. Like, there's a problem with this property. Right here's our problem. This was an add-on, we believe. Some point, some sort of room add-on. And water would just literally, the house just slopes and water would just come in. And if you have water against a wall or side of the wood, it's just a matter of time in the south before holes get in there, water gets in there, bugs get in there, termites get in there, and you have a problem. And that's what we did with this house. You can see we redid the wall, put on new siding, re-insulated it and all that, and closed it in on the inside. But that was the second time that happened, meaning someone in the future will probably be doing that again. Now, one of the things we've done to try to, let's just say, slow the problem down. Often you can't stop them, but you can try to slow them down. We put in a French drain, put rocks over it, and now most of the water actually goes into the French drain and drains off to the side, unless it's a torrential downpour. But it has significantly slowed down this water problem, maybe fixed it. If you come around the corner, you'll see we did the same thing. We laid concrete up against it, we caulked it in real good, sealed it up. So yeah, water will come through here. Hopefully it stays out of the house. America at its finest. This town has about 40,000 people, probably 1 million towns like this across America. Everywhere from Virginia to Tennessee to Alabama to Michigan. There's these little towns with 40, 50,000 people in them. You don't need to go to Los Angeles, Miami, Detroit, or New York to get rich in real estate. You can do it exactly where you live. You can do it almost anywhere, I believe. Now, look at this yard. We got trailers right here. Birds are chirping. It's nice, easy to rent. When you get properties like this, you're gonna get, what's a good term for it? Things that come with it. Look at this clothesline over here. This was probably used in the 1950s. And they would have another one over there. Well, these things are extremely heavy, dug really deep in the ground with fucking concrete. Good luck. What I do, just leave it. Here's another thing you might inherit, which likely you will be a metal building. And this will at some point be a pain in your ass, as all outbuildings are. Best thing to do, just try to keep them going for as long as you can. You'll get really good at patching things, decks, porches. You know, you're not gonna, for one part of the deck's going bad, we just need to fix that part. And you just keep doing that until at some point you probably need to fix the whole thing. So we could probably get another 5-10 years out of this building before the building's gonna have to be replaced. Or a storm comes and that tree falls on it and we have to buy a new one. All right, man, that was great. I really appreciate you joining me here on my property in what I said is the bread and butter real estate trade. It's the easiest trade. The prices are on the low end. You don't need as big a down payment. You do need to put 20% down. You do need good credit, and you do need to have good records. So you need to be a person of integrity, and you need to be an earner, okay? Money flow is about earning money. It's not only about earning money, but it's what do we do with the money that we earn. If you don't have my free ebook, you don't have to die broke. Simply hit my bio link. I'd love to send it to you. The only follow-up I'll do is to ask you, did you read it?